My name is Jason Miller, founder of ServiceNow Solutions, and we're about to unlock the power of ServiceNow. I'd like to start off by thanking all 1,973 subscribers in over 80 countries globally. If you're new to the channel and you believe in transferring knowledge to those who need it most, please click subscribe. Your user data will not be transferred to anyone outside of ServiceNow without your consent. Today we're going to get started with performance analytics and dashboards in a domain-separated environment. For some of you, you probably don't use domain separation, but some of you do, and I felt like combining the two topics would be a really cool thing to do. I was asked by someone how long it takes to put a video together, and to be quite frank with you, it can be up to a month depending on the subject matter at hand. So it is a lot of work to put these together, and I try to come up with things that, and they asked me also, like, what's the one thing that you try to do in your videos that other people don't do? It's pretty much what other people also try to do, I think anyway, and that's come up with something different or a different perspective on topics within these different cloud platforms. So I did get a subscriber request to do, actually I got several requests by subscribers to do performance analytics for about the last 9 months. So finally I'm giving in, but I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to tie in domain separation. As you can see here, I have my domain picker right here with a couple of different domains. I made up some of myself, the real mayor of Kasatua, and the Kingfisher account, and the real mayor of Kasatua and the mayor's customers. And we'll get more into that later on, and I'll show you domain structure in other videos and stuff like that, and things to look out for with domain separation. So what we're looking at here is not a dashboard. It's not. This is merely a home page. So what's our clue here? Well, it says create a dashboard version, so that'll be our number one clue. But like, let's say we took this away. Sometimes there'll be like a little blue button here that says the same thing, if I recall correctly. But this is not a dashboard, so these are merely home pages here. I just wanted to note that because a lot of people confuse the two. So now we're going to, you're probably saying, okay, well then how do I get to a dashboard? All right, well, one thing you can do is you can type in dashboard, and what I tend to do is go to the self-service and just click on dashboards, and that'll take you to screen kind of like this, and it brings us into all these dashboards here. And I created just a couple, two that are named SLA dashboard. I'm going to take you into this one. And before we get started with creating the dashboard, one thing I'm going to give you a little unsolicited advice on is you're probably going to want to create a group that can view the dashboard. And the reason why is that if you're in domain separation, it can get really crazy with all the different domains. And the way to kind of visualize it when you're working in a domain separated environment versus just a regular single tenant environment is basically you could picture this as kind of like a house, and then this is kind of like a condominium where you have many different units within that, or families living within this. But here, this is only one family living in this house. Now, I know we have access controls, but the domain separation is an added feature that you can get in order to make sure that your environment is ultra secure. It does come with a little bit more work, I will tell you that, from working in domain separated environments. So I created a group, and it's called Aspen Dashboard Group. And the purpose of this group is pretty simple. It's going to be able to look at that one of those performance analytics dashboards. Now, we're in a domain separated environment, and when you turn that plugin on, the one thing I kind of don't like about the setup here is that we don't have the domain tag on here. So I don't know what domain this group is in, nor did I have it in this list view. I had to add it myself. Also, company is going to be something that's important also. So anyway, here we have our group, and then what I'm going to do is on the form layout, I'm going to add the domain tag. So, and one thing as an admin you're going to want to do is work in the top domain, generally, unless you're doing domain-specific work. So global is another one that sometimes you'll be forced to work in because you can't complete certain actions in the top domain. You have to do it in global. And I'll show you those in some other videos. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, I think I made this incident group in time zone for whatever reason. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add domain and company here. And I can't remember which companies I made for which domains, and now right here you're going to see something that's called an override that has just occurred, which means that this section, or excuse me, this form now resides in the top domain, and the other one that we were looking at is now in global. So I'll show you that in other videos though, so that way you don't have to worry about it. I thought we had a domain here. Is domain not coming through? Let's take a look at our form layout again and see if we can get domain. I'm going to try to put it under parent. See if we can get that to come through. Maybe it didn't take. Oh, here it is, domain. I'm going to scoot this up. Maybe I just didn't see it on the previous screen. All right, don't see domain. Oh, it must be hidden here because I have company. So, all right. So now, I don't know if Aspen Now Solutions has a domain, but we'll see. I could always look at the company record. Yeah, so the domain for this is top. So basically this will reside in the top domain. Probably not where we want to put this. So what I'll do is I'll open the record. And I'm going to change the domain on this company record to, I don't know if I can do it this way. I probably have to go into the picker. And let's go into, I don't know, the real mayor. Yeah, let's do the real mayor. Casa Tua. Casa Tua is one of my favorite restaurants in Miami, by the way. So adding them there. So as you can see here, we have this domain set up nicely now. Let's see if our list cooperates here. So there we go. Our company is that, and it set our domain for us, even though we don't have the domain on the form for this group here. So, and the reason why this is critical, you're probably like, why are you wasting your time with this? The reason why this is critical is because for this dashboard, we're only going to want to have certain people see it. So we could use domain SEP solely for that, but then, you know, what if you have 1,000 users in that domain? You only want to have 5 see that dashboard. So that's going to be key right there. So now I'm going to go to the actual dashboard itself. So I'm going to open this puppy up. I believe it's this one here. I created something that's called SLA dashboard. Now, the issue that we have here, or our customer requirement, is that, and here's another way that we can tell that this isn't a home page. This little hamburger menu here, you have this. So you have all these little options here. I don't believe you had it on the other one. Yeah, see, all you have is that plus sign. Oh yeah, and take it easy on this plus sign because you're basically making a personal copy there. People do that millions of times, and they have something called like My Dashboard or whatever it is. So here we have our SLA dashboard. If I wanted to, I go to the over. I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to start off by adding widgets, right? If I want to add widgets, I'm going to open this up. And now this, basically, this isn't only add widgets. This is basically if you want to edit the reports and stuff like that. So one thing I tend to do when I'm adding reports to one of these things is, see this edit widget right here? I'm going to make my tile line at center. When I make it center, that tells me later on, because I might have a dashboard with like, I've had some with like up to 150 reports, which you're probably asking me like, why did you make one with so many reports? You know, it's just, it's what we did. That was the requirement. Probably not good for performance, but especially if a lot of them are real time and they function off of interactive filters, but that's a different story. So right here, we'll have it centered, and now we'll follow the interactive filter, and now it'll show us when you're following the interactive filter. Great. So now it just moved over there. Wonderful. The problem that we run into here is that we're always going to have the one with the highest amount of numbers first, and maybe that's not what we want. Maybe we want to see this stuff, like we want to see the breached ones first. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start adding some reports here. But before I get to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. Remember that group we made? Yeah, now you're probably like, all right, now I understand what you're getting at. Now you're going to share this out with that group. See the Aspen dashboard group? I'm going to add that puppy in right there. I'm not going to send the email invitation. They can view it. I'm not going to give them the ability to edit it because we know what happens then when users get their hands on these things, don't we? Now, one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to create a different background for this dashboard, right? So visually, when I come into this dashboard, I know that I started working on it. And I think I'm going to give it a color of black. Great. All right. So now I gave it a black background color. So if you didn't know you could do that, you can click like on the video, say, you know what, I learned something today. Also, this feature right here, this apply the quick layout, is going to come in handy. So now what I'm going to do is to combat this whole in progress always being first thing, I create a whole bunch of single scores. And I find that those are the best visually for presenting like a dashboard, especially to someone higher up who's not technical. Because it's just numbers. That's all they have to comprehend is numbers. Because how many times have we been into a meeting and you go into a meeting and you show the head honcho, meaning the person that's in charge, way up there, like the CIO level, hey, this is what we got going on, and it looks like one of those burn down charts or something, and you really have to have a PhD in order to understand what's going on. So you spend the next like 15 to 20 minutes going over how to read that report. So this is why we use single scores. Just say, hey, this is the number, right? So now I'm going to start out with, and I'm just going to add these as fast as I can, like rapid fire. Okay, so I did 1, 2, and this is really tedious, right? You're probably like, man, this is a pain. And you're probably saying, well, shouldn't you make them shorter and all that stuff so that way, you can see what you're doing. I'm just going to add them all. So here I got 4, 5, I think there's like 6 or something like that. Maybe 7. Which one of the breach SLA is canceled? Did I do pause? I did paused. Breach currently paused. Breached SLAs. Did I do breach SLAs in progress? Completed. I don't know. I think it's this one. All right. And then I think there's one more. SLAs in progress. So now you remember this little feature right here? Apply quick layout. Watch this. Boom. Makes it a lot easier. So if you spent a lot of time saying, okay, I got to take this over here like this, make a perfect little square, you can get a head start. You can just do that. That way you can make, this little square here, and they can bring them up that way. That way you don't have to, mess with something the size of this. Or even better, you can do something like that, right? So that's kind of cool too. So with this one, maybe I'll keep it down here. I don't know. Do I like this guy? Do I not like this guy? Who knows? And then I'm going to add, am I going to add the interactive filter in this video? Remember, there's going to be a couple of videos on this stuff, so I'm trying to do it piece by piece because I don't want to waste your time with anything that goes too long. So let's do interactive filters, and I can't remember what I got. I think it was a group one. Yeah, so here's what I like to do. A lot of people, they're going to sit there and they're going to worry about like the breached ones. I used to work on a contract where we would be evaluated on performance and we get paid based on that performance. Look, once it's breached, there's nothing you can do about it. So in my opinion, I'd be like, all right, well, look, we can get to the bottom of this later if it develops as a pattern. But if we're just talking about one that's breached, I'm not really worried about it because it's already a dead. It's like rotten eggs. You can't bring those things back to life. So that's just my philosophy on doing these things. But I know a lot of other people, they really want to have these breached ones first. So sure, we'll give them their wish. We'll move this around like that. We'll move the pause one in here. Now think about it from like a cycle point of view. So what do we want first? We probably want, I would want the ones that are in progress that are about to breach. But that's why we have this little interactive filter here, right? So if I wanted to, I could say has breached is either none. Let's just say none. And what I want to do on this one, hold on here, and then I want to do expiring. I don't know. I think I have to do has breached is false, right? Yeah, there we go. Has breached is false. And then you know what? I don't think I even launched any new records, so I don't think this will come up, but let's just see if we can do something for tomorrow or today. Let's do today. And then also, what else am I going to do? I think tomorrow. Yeah, so I got today or tomorrow. So you see how these stack up all in one nice little filter? So I'll hit apply. Oh, and that's another thing I forgot to do, right? Why aren't they responding to the filters? Because I haven't edited them yet. So now I have to come in here and say, look, show me real-time updates. Not only that, this has nothing to do with the filters. It's just going to give you the real-time, like if you're in an operation that's moving. Remember, if we're in a development environment, there probably going to be too many real-time updates, if you know what I mean, right? Because depending on when you last cloned down or you opened records, that's a different story altogether. So cannot generate no matching records, right? So what I'm going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to open up just like a problem record because I know that puppy is going to have some. It won't have it on that one that I was looking at, but I'll have it on the other one. So let's do problem.do. Come on now. Oh, I know what the problem is. I need to have lowercase, don't I? I think I can do like this and it'll go into a separate window. Will it? No, it won't. Oh no. All right, let's do problem.do. There we go. We got a problem record. Put in my description here. I don't know. I'm going to do open for this. And then I don't think I need much else for my SLAs to fire. All right, so then, okay, nice. So I went back to here. Should have done save, right? Problem.list. It's most like, yeah, it's this one right here. All right, so now we have, it looks like we have 3 that fired. So when's their breach time? Looks like today, right? So we should have breach time today. So let's go back to our dashboard here. So these are already breached, so they're going to be conditioned out. So what we need to do is SLAs in progress. Now let me change these filters here. Okay, so what I need is, let's take out tomorrow, apply filters. We got none there, so let's take out the false, because it might be none is the actual one. Let's see if we have, there we go, there's our 3. So our 3 pop up, and now it looks like 1 already breached. So let's see here, and it also depends on, yeah, see 1 breached, so that's why that 1 popped up, and then 2 have not. So probably need to look at this this filter here and see what's going on with that to make sure that this is the appropriate set that we have. And one thing we'll notice is that it opened up in the same window. I think what we want to do is probably set it up so that way, let's go to dashboards here, so that way it opens in a flyout. All right, so let's go back to our SLA dashboard. All right, so, oh no, that's correct because we only have today. So breach today, this one breached today, and then the SLA is in progress because they all 3 are all in progress. So that makes total sense so our filters are working correctly. I'm sorry, I thought we still had false in there. Sometimes I move too fast for my own good. Okay, so we have our 3 here. And then what we could do, you probably want to see like how I created some of these reports, right? So let's take a look. I don't know, what else, what do we have here that's interesting that'll have some conditions on it? We can look at the completed SLAs breached and just go off of there. Now, if memory serves correctly, when I created this, this was off of the task SLA table. That's correct. Okay, so completed SLAs breached. I did a table and then task SLA. And then again, I'm just doing single score, something nice and simple for our CIO friend there to absorb. We're going to do aggregation of count, and this really has nothing to do with the performance analytics side. We're just using simple reporting here, which is great, really easy to set up. And then later, what we're going to do is we're going to get into some more complex stuff. So here's what we have. Stage is completed, has breached is true, simple conditions, and then it takes us into our list. Now, I believe that if we go to our properties here for, let's take a look here for reporting. And actually, maybe it'll be easier here. Maybe we can take a look at, define where the properties are. Here we go. Here's our properties. Truncates. Okay, see this one right here? Opens the drill down information in a new window. And now watch what happens when I click on that drill down. Let's click save here. Now let's go back into our dashboard. All right, it's taking a little bit of time here. Now let's let one of these generate. So now if we want to see this in a separate window, boom, opens in a separate window now for us. And as you can see here with this table, one thing I did for just this table view is a lot of people really get fascinated with this concept of average time. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the worst things that you can do for yourselves right now. Because right here, the average time, we have a whopping 3 records. This is not a good statistical sample, number one. Number two, this doesn't span a year. So there's no way I can even think about seasonal trends. So if you have a seasonal business or an operation where, like, let's say you get a bunch of interns, let's say you have a mega organization of like 250,000 people, and you get interns in June, and you get like 20, I don't know, like let's just say 2,000 interns, and you have a spike at your service desk because you need to create all those accounts. You need to understand the seasonality of the way your SLAs are going to be impacted. So that's why I try to stay away from the average time, but people love it. And I'll tell you really where you're going to get hit most with that too is on your priority 2s, because to me, priority 1, there's always a clear definition in most of these organizations, but with priority 2, there almost never is, and you always have like 10 records. So how are you going to base average time off of 10 records? You could have 9 of them that went an hour, so then your average time is an hour. But then you have the 10th one that went like 11 hours or whatever. So at that point, you're going to double the amount of time. So you're going to have 2 hours per record. That doesn't make any sense to me on why people do it that way, but they do. They like to do it that way. I always go by percentages. Try to go by the percentage either made or breached. So, and then here's a little chart. Now see what happened with this chart here. I think, what do we have? We have our 3. So it looks like it's responding to the interactive filter. Also, we'll see here, like if we wanted to make it flush here with this one, just kind of move it up that way, kind of nudge it. And if we want to make these smaller, one thing I would do is try to get down a size that I want and then bring the others down to the same size. So we could do something like this. And then if I wanted to, I'll even, oh yeah, you have these arrows here, which if I click the up one, the one pointing up, it goes up, or it gets bigger. If I click the one pointing down, it gets bigger. So I'm not sure what those arrows actually do. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one up just for a quick second, right? And now I'm going to get the size of this one to conform. So I'm going to go down here. Yeah, this is what I want to do, like this right here. And then try to bring this back up just a second to get a good measure of if this is the same. So it's not really cooperating the way I'd like it to, but we'll just eyeball it for a second there. Maybe I can bring it down just to see. No, it looks like it needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so that might do the trick right there. Actually, it might be a little bit too big. And trust me, you can spend days doing this stuff. But like I said, if you really want to get that head start, use this function right here, this apply quick layout. And then also, if we want to create a second tab, right? Like let's say we don't want all this stuff on the first tab. One thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click create tab. All right, so now we have a second tab here. And now maybe the first tab I'm going to name, and we'll click this little pencil. Say SLAs, SLAs in progress. Because maybe I just want the ones that are in progress. And maybe the second one, I want to do like completed SLAs. Okay, so then again, if I came to this tab, one thing I'll have to do is, in order to add those, go to reports. And now if I want to have the ones that are completed, I'm just going to add them again. Again, no big deal because I can format these things. I'll get a head start on the... All right, so we have a completed there. Looks like, and then is canceled. Yeah, looks like canceled. That would be considered completed. And then what else here? So we have 3 here in progress. We did not breached. We did not breached. All right, and then what I will do is I'll just format them. I don't know. Let's try that way. That way I have 3 there, and then I could always add that interactive filter and then tweak it. And then if we want to, what we can do is we can take a look at this group filter here just really quickly and how I did that. This thing's just taking its time. And one of the things I kind of like, but I kind of don't like also at a certain point, like depends on the perspective of this, is that like let's say I left that dashboard in that condition and then I drilled into one of the reports. Well, let's go back to the dashboard. And we'll see it left it all with the same formatting that it had before. And then also, so there's no real like save mechanism here or update. The way you left it is the way you're going to come back to it. So if you accidentally kill off some reports here, there's no way just to refresh the screen and then come back to it like in other records. Like, you know, if you're hammering out a business rule and you're like, or modifying a business rule and you want to do an insert and stay, there's no way really to just like reload the screen and go back to what its original state was. So, and one thing I wanted to note was that when you're moving these dashboards via update set, one thing you're going to want to do is, and we can go to the properties really quickly. And also look here. So if we want to put a group in here, restrict to roles. We can also do breakdown sources, which I'm going to discuss in another video too, which is these are not used with the actual reports themselves. They're used with the widgets. So we'll get more into the widgets later on. But see the dashboard tabs here. We have those. You could also create one here. And then one thing we're going to do when we're about to move this stuff in our update set, and here's our update set picker, we're going to unload the dashboard. So if you remember, one of the key things from today is going to be to unload the dashboard before you move it via update set. Because if you don't do that, I guarantee you all you're going to have is your 2 tabs, and you're not going to have any of the reports in there. So you're going to want to make sure you remember this right here. Okay, so let's take a look at our interactive filter here. So basically what this does is you have a couple of child filters here, and then you put them in the same filter. I think this is kind of handy. It's kind of cool. Like if you want people to have the ability to leverage both. I'm not sure what it, if it really saves on real estate, so to speak, in the actual dashboard, but it was kind of cool. So I put this thing together. So we can take a look at the child filters too, and really simple stuff that I did off the task SLA table. A lot of people want to measure stuff off of incident, but one thing I find is that companies like to use pause time or pause conditions in their SLAs. I hate using them because, look, I want the customer's experience to be reflected. So basically, if it takes 7 days to do something, don't make an SLA of 2 days. Like if the customer is going to experience 7 days of waiting for something, that to me is a true time. But, again, one of my philosophies is if the customer wants it, that's what they're going to get. I'm not going to fight them on it. I'm just going to do what it is they want to have done. So this is a choice list interactive filter. I named it has breached. It's off of the has breached field off of the task SLA table. Now here I did multiple input. I could also do select input or single input. I could do checkboxes. I could do radio buttons. I just did select multiple input on this. And then our default value is false. And then also if we wanted to apply it to all the tables in the hierarchy, a little question mark here. Apply this filter to the entire extended table hierarchy, including the base, parent, child, and sibling tables. So this probably works well, if we're going to go off the task table or if we're, doing something like that. And then if we had database views and tables like that, and maybe I'll check these boxes here. I don't think it's going to have any impact, to be honest with you. So this interactive filter here is different. It's a date filter. So all I'm saying here is this week, today, or tomorrow. And probably a lot of you have never seen tomorrow used. You're probably wondering, like, why would I use tomorrow? Well, this is a perfect example of where you would use tomorrow. And I'm glad that the people at ServiceNow actually put in that, I think it's dynamic filter or whatever for the date. And I think it's kind of cool that you can do stuff that's going to occur tomorrow. So for SLAs, this works perfectly because if I'm a help desk manager, support desk manager, which I used to be, I'm going to want to know like all the priority ones that might expire tomorrow or today or this week. Everything that's going on that's really high level. And then here I did select multiple input. So if I want to do, 2 or 3 or 2 or all 3 of these options, I can do that. And then let's see, our interactive filter dates. So it's coming off our task SLA table. We're using the planned end time fields. So that's the breach time, I believe. And yeah, that's basically, and you'll notice that related list, the interactive filter dates pops in there because I want to know, okay, so like which date do you want to use, right? So that's you're gonna have to build these out too, and I can take you into it also and show you it. Pretty simple. Table, field name. So let's go back to our original dashboard here. Okay, let's go on one more time. So let's just review a couple of things that we learned today. All right, how to add the reports or widgets, as I like to refer to them, to our dashboard. A little bit about how these reports were constructed. Also, how to share these things to a group. And then also in our configuration tab here, how to set the background color. And then also apply a quick layout, as you see here. So that's cool. And then the other key thing was when we're about to move this thing, if we're going to move it right now, then we're going to have to make sure that in our update set that we do the unload properties. And maybe I'll do that as our last thing for today. All right, so here's our properties here. And now I'm going to do unload dashboard. And you're going to see this nice little message come up. Look at this. All this stuff came up. Boom, boom, boom. So we had to do that before we move it. And sometimes at the end of the day, I'll just do this precautionary just to make sure the stuff is captured in there because I'll be given the green light to move an update set, and then maybe I'll forget in my haste to move it. So that's our segment for today. My name's Jason Miller, founder of AspenNow Solutions, and we've just unlocked the power of ServiceNow.